Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're an oldie but a goodie, then thank you so much for coming back to another video. So today I have a business Q&A video for you guys. It's been a long time since I've just sat down and answered like business related questions, so here we are. I asked you guys on Instagram to send on over some business related questions that you guys may need help with. And before I get into it, we are in a new little environment. So this is my new classroom. I'm at my spa right now, but this is a classroom where all the future IV hydration business classes are going to be held. Yeah, I'm so excited to like be sitting here filming. These are some of the tables, decor. This side has tables, the TV is on this side of me. So yeah, I'm just feeling really inspired right now in business and everything. So I was like, this is like a perfect time to get to the questions. Okay, but I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right in so that we have time to answer a lot of them. I'm gonna scroll just all the way down to where the first ones were being asked, and let's get right into it. So the first one says, how to deal with rude or bad clients online or in person or over the phone. This is a good question because as a business owner, there are gonna be times where you do just have to deal with like rude people. I guess I'll tell a little story because I was actually just thinking about this yesterday. So I'll just share this little story with you guys and then kind of tell, I guess, just how to deal with rude people. But it just reminded me of like this one client that I had actually like about a month ago. And you know, she came in, it was like a duo drip. So it was her and like, you know, I think a friend or something. But anyways, I went to stick her. You know, she had a valve in her vein, which basically that means that when you go in, you stick the needle, you get blood return, like it's like you're in the vein, but once you go to thread the actual catheter in there, there's a valve, so it's just blocking the catheter from going through. So basically, you know, like that just happens with veins. Sometimes you really can't, sometimes you can feel them or see them, but most times the valves are so like in the middle of the vein that you can't really palpate it or see it. Anyways, that IV was a fail, right? So, you know, every time I hit a valve or anything like that, I always explain to people, oh, she's just looking down. She's like, you know, that's a big vein right there. That's kind of hard to miss. And I'm like, girl, right then and there, I want to be like, but are you a nurse? Because first off, I didn't miss the vein. Clearly, I'm in the vein. There's blood return. Like, it's just the way she said it, really. Like the way with that little tone, like, that's a big vein to miss, or like that's a hard vein to miss. So anyways, you know, I was like, well, you know, I'm explaining the whole little valve situation. Okay, so that was the first issue with her, right? Like the first rudeness. Next comes checkout time. So I'm checking her out. They did like all these weird things, and the way she booked her appointment, like she booked the duo and like put a deposit down, and then she booked, like she paid for the B12 add-on ahead of time. So anyway, she had put down like $85 deposit. And then, you know, we take the remaining balance here. So I'm calculating all this stuff because I'm like, okay, are you guys paying together? Like, what's the thing? She's like, yeah, together. So I'm breaking it down. Girl, I'm trying to explain everything to her. Like, her total was like in the 300s. So anytime there's like a big total, I like to break it down because it's, you know, I don't like to be like, okay, well, your total is like 340 something. And then people are like, what? Like, how did that happen? You know, I feel like maybe people may think like you're just adding extra stuff. So anyways, I'm breaking it down. I'm like, all right, well, the vitamin C was this, the vitamin C was that. And she's all confused the whole time. She's like, but I already paid for the B12 ahead of time. I'm like, yes, I'm telling you the whole total. And then we are minus 85 that you had prepaid. Like, I was kind of explaining it to her and she was like being rude. She's like, okay, so what's the total for right now? So boom, I give her the total. All right, she paid. That was that, right? She left. Tell me how literally almost a month after, like a few weeks after, she sends this text. She's like, hello, so I was charged on whatever date. She's like 85, and then the day of my service, like she was like breaking it down. She's like, I was charged another 200 something. She said at the time of the visit, I was told that I wasn't gonna be charged like the 50 that I already paid. I don't know, she's just a whole long text. And then she's like, let me know how you're gonna refund the $50 that you overcharged me. Mind you, whole time the receipt was right. So I go in, I call her back, because at this point I'm like, I'm not texting you back, I'm calling you back. She didn't pick up. So I broke it down. I'm like, hello, here's the breakdown of your services. Broke it all down. It totaled up, like everything was right. And then she responds, she's like, thank you. I'm like, girl, look at you. Like, what you mean the $50 that you overcharged me? Like I said, she was confused since the start of the service. But anyways, that was another little, like, I guess, rude encounter, like over text or over the phone. So I don't know, it just reminded me of that. That's like one of many little instances that people just get like that. Some people just get like that. So back to the question, girl. Basically, how to deal with like rude people. Sometimes it's hard in business because like I said, with that little comment, like that's a big vein. I feel like easily I could have been like, yeah, but are you a nurse? Because you know what I'm saying? But obviously you can't do that, because immediately somebody's gonna go and like leave you a negative review. They're not gonna like that. So I think the best way to do it is just with professionalism, to really keep your composure, state the facts. So whatever it is that they're being rude about, just like state the facts. A lot of times it's like booking. I feel like that always happens, or like no shows when you charge their fee. I feel like people get defensive with that, and it's like, here's the policy, you agree to it. You have to like state the facts in a way that is easy for people to understand. Yeah, just really don't let people try to get a reaction out of you, because sometimes it's hard, right? Sometimes it's hard. You're just like, why are you being so rude? Like, especially when it's like your place of business, because it's like you're basically in my home. Like that's how I feel like with my business, right? So it's like you're in my space that I've created to be like peaceful and relaxing, and you're coming here with that attitude. Like it's almost like you want to be like, okay, wrap it up, like you can hit the door. But like I said, as a business owner, you have to just maintain your composure and just let the situation go, and just try to not let somebody get you out of character. But yeah, that was my little story. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so there's a few questions here on like paying yourself. Like, how do you know how much to pay yourself when just starting out? What's a good healthy percentage to pay yourself? So I feel like I get this question all the time, and really the paying yourself comes down to like your accounting, your business structure, your taxes. Like yeah, it's not just like one answer, like okay, this is how you do it. Everyone's business structure is going to be different, and it's also going to depend on how much your business is bringing in. So let me just give you an example. The time that it would be advisable for you to like pay yourself as a W-2, meaning you are like an employee of the business. So for example, this is Revitalux, that's the business structure, and then I would be myself, Fatima, I would be just a W-2, like an employee of Revitalux. Now I could be the CEO title, the nurse practitioner title, whatever I want to title myself, but I'm like a staff, I'm an employee under the business. And the time that it would make sense to do that is if your business is bringing in a lot of income. Like I'm talking in the multi six figures. So like probably over 150K. I mean, and everyone is going to be different, because it's also going to depend on how much expenses you're writing off. So really think about like how much, let's say your business makes 100K, but maybe you keep 50K. But once you get to the point of like keeping six figures of the business, so like 100K, 200K, 300K plus, that would make sense for you to like start to W-2 yourself, because then you're only paying taxes on your salary. So then you could say, okay, I'm paying myself like 5K a month out of that, 300K that the business is making. So then you're only paying taxes on your W-2 salary. And then that way, and if you're doing that, you also have to like restructure your business in a different way. I think it has to be under like an S Corp. So yeah, a lot of things is just really gonna depend on your business income, your business expenses, a lot of things. So there's really no answer to that. I think that the best answer for you is to really sit down with your accountant and really figure out like your tax situation, and like and even like what tax brackets your business falls into. Because remember, the more you make, the more that you get taxed and stuff. So you want to see like, you just want to make it make sense for you, to where you're not overpaying like crazy amounts in taxes. If like your business is bringing in a lot of income, then it would make sense to do that. Yeah, and then the other way that you can do it is just let the business income go into your business bank account and then take withdrawals from there. So that's kind of like your payment there. So multiple different ways. I would say just sit down with your accountant and figure out really kind of what works for your business. Okay, next question. Were you ever worried about the investment loss if the business didn't take off? To be honest, no. I don't think that I ever really had that worry in my head, even really starting off, because the way that I started my business was very low cost. Like I didn't have a huge expense, and that is the exact same way that I teach my students to start this kind of business. Like very low cost, do not go crazy. You don't need like this big space. You don't need none of that when you're first starting out, because if it doesn't work out, you could easily just be like, all right, I tried. There's a lot of different things you could try and do before you say, okay, this isn't working. But if you do have like a big expense, like a lease that's like 5 years, most of, like, for example, this building, I think my lease was like 4 years, versus where I started out, it was a yearly thing. So I could give it a try for a year. If it didn't work out, like that was it. I wasn't tied into things. So yeah, I can't really say that I had that worry of like losing out on the investment because I didn't put like a bunch of money down. And I feel like a lot of the things that I invested in was like, you know, my learning about it. I invested in coaching. I invested in like mentorship. You know, I invested in things like that I feel like I could use maybe in another business, even like the attorney, really. Even though like they did kind of structure this business, I still sat down with him and learned like new legal things. So I feel like a lot of the stuff, if it really wouldn't have worked out, a lot of the stuff wouldn't have gone to waste. Like I could almost just start over with knowledge and stuff. So yeah, I can't really say that I was ever worried about losing out on the investment because like I said, it wasn't like a huge bulk of money. With that being said, there's a question here that says, what is the average price range should someone save to get their business up and running? I'm just gonna assume a lot of these questions are in regards to IV hydration because nobody really said like in specific. So I'm just gonna assume that that question is regarding to IV hydration because obviously that's kind of what I would know. You know, obviously any other business is gonna require different expenses, but the average price range, you guys, that I usually suggest, and this is free game for you guys in this video, I usually suggest people to try to stay under $10,000 to begin with. And even that is like a lot. Like you can definitely do it for a lot less if you are just smart with your moves and your team and how you kind of move about with like creating the business. So yeah, I would say 10,000 is like the max that you would really need. And the big bulk of that comes from your education, obviously, because you're gonna have to invest in like a course or classes, coaching, you know, you're gonna have to invest in learning the business. So that's gonna be like a bulk of it. And then probably the other bulk will be like the legal stuff. So just your attorney, just kind of getting the whole business together. After that, the rest of the expenses are not like crazy big numbers. So I would say 10,000. Yes, ma'am, you heard right. Okay, how to deal with periods of feeling discouraged with the business, or how do you know if entrepreneurship is really for you? Okay, this is a really good question. So let me kind of break it down. I guess I'll start with like the second part where she said knowing if entrepreneurship is for you. I think that, you know, you really have to almost sit down and like envision what your life will be like. And to be honest, sometimes you just have to do it, jump in and see if it's for you, because it's like entrepreneurship is not this one thing. Like everybody's business journey is the same. Like for some people, it could be like super free and like amazing and like the best decision. And for some people, it's like, oh my God, like this was requiring more work, more time, more effort. Like some people are just more built for like the routine and structure of like, you know, what you call a 9 to 5, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like not everybody's built for entrepreneurship, okay? Let's just put that out there. So I guess some of the things when trying to decide like if entrepreneurship is for you, number one, like, are you disciplined? Are you disciplined? Just kind of look at your habits in other areas of your life, and just because that's going to tell you like some of the habits that you're going to bring into entrepreneurship and business. So the first one, are you disciplined? Because business requires so much discipline. Like you don't have a manager, you don't have a boss, you don't have nobody over your shoulders telling you, oh, try this, do this, switch this up, this isn't working. Like you are that person. So you have to have the discipline to know how to make changes, know what's, you know, when something is working, when something is not working, know when it's time to let the business go, right? You have to be disciplined with that. You have to be disciplined financially. So take a look at your personal finances. Are you overspending? Do you even have a budget? Do you manage your savings? Like, or is your personal financial life like all over the place? Because if it is, you're gonna bring that right into the business, and it doesn't matter that you're making $2K a day, $20,000 in a month, $30,000 in a month. Like you're gonna mismanage that money. So you just have to really look at your habits. You know, maybe make a list of like your habits and stuff. So that's kind of just step one, just to see like how are you kind of doing in day-to-day life. So I would say discipline in so many different areas of life. Like that's really one that you have to look at. Number two, are you ready to put in work? Because, you know, people have this dream and this idea like entrepreneurship, oh, the freedom, the money. Yes, all of those things come with time though. Things do not happen overnight. Like none of my businesses blew up overnight. Nothing that I've ever done, okay? I feel like I kind of mentioned this in my last video when it came, I think I was talking about luck with love and stuff like that. But yeah, nothing happened overnight. YouTube didn't happen overnight. This business didn't happen overnight. My coaching business did not take off overnight. My store, like nothing that I've ever done was like, oh, boop, put it out there and it's like No, it took work, it took marketing, it took building an audience, it just took effort, right? So are you ready to put in work when it comes to the business? Because if you're not, you're gonna be like those kind of people that, you know, they see, oh, this is so amazing, like I can't wait to make my own schedule and, you know, do this, and the money and like the freedom of like being able to travel. Like you kind of see those things with like people that have been entrepreneurs or business owners for a while. But let me tell you, most of us, it wasn't overnight, right? None of that was overnight. I had to spend years to like get my education. Like a lot of it just took time and effort. So that is another thing that you have to ask yourself. Because if you're that kind of person that like you just want quick money, business is really not it. There's other things out there like quick money things, but like when it comes to like a business, it's not no quick money thing, okay? But there's a lot more. I can maybe do like an actual topic on like, is entrepreneurship for you? I think I could really sit down and give like a lot of different things that maybe can help you kind of figure out those things. But yeah, there's a lot I could go into. And then the other part of the question was how to deal with like feeling discouraged with the business. So that's another good question, because I did experience this. I think I've actually experienced this with like a lot of the different projects and things and businesses, jobs, anything that I'm really doing. I feel like I do sometimes get into a period where it's like, I'm kind of bored with it, or I don't even know if I want to use the word bored. Like, I don't know what's the word, but like, I'm just less creative. I guess, you know, I just feel less motivated, less inspired, less creative, less excited. You know, all of those feelings kind of like fade out, because trust me, you know, once you start a business, you're like, oh, on cloud nine. Like everything is exciting about the business. Like you get your business cards, you're super excited to like see your name on there. Your logo, oh my God, like the logo's beautiful, you want to put it everywhere. You know, brochures, ooh, this design, like everything about it is exciting. But once you're like years into it, you know, yeah, it does become a little more routine. It becomes more like your day-to-day. It really becomes a job, right? It's still work. It doesn't matter what kind of business you're doing. It could be like the funnest thing in the world. Sometimes I think about, oh, what's my favorite thing to do? Travel, right? So what if I had something like a job or a business that requires traveling? I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna get to a point where it's like, okay, I just want to enjoy this trip. Like I don't feel like writing this blog about this thing, or I don't feel like, you know, whatever the job entitles, right? Like literally anything is gonna become routine at some point. So yeah, I definitely experienced that, like, you know, not as motivated phase. I think it was like last year around the summer. I really got into a point where like the business was just flowing. Like I was seeing my regulars, I had my members, like, you know, my members that come in monthly, like they pretty much cover like the expenses of the business in general. So it's like I didn't feel like I had to go out there and like market and try to get new clients. And to be honest, I didn't even want to deal with new clients. I'm like, let me just see my regulars. Like I really got to that point, guys. And like I felt so bad. I really felt bad, because it's like I almost, you know, this was something that I prayed for, right? Like I prayed for growth and business success and like busy days, like, you know, and it's like I felt terrible, guys. I felt terrible. I'm like, I don't want to be that way. Like I should be grateful that I have a full schedule and stuff. But let me just tell you, it happens, and it's so okay. So if you are in that phase right now, or you know, you're just like, like I don't know, I'm bored with it, whatever, like it truly happens, okay? Yeah, like my friends were saying, like they were kind of feeling the same way. And yeah, like we were all in that 3-year mark with the business. So I don't know if like that had to do with it, but you know, everybody was feeling it. And you know, of course, things in the world have changed, right? The pandemic, the inflation, like things are just different. It costs money to run a business, okay? Things have gone up over here. The supplies don't cost the same. The shipping has gone up. Like insurance went up. Like things went up, right? So it's like you know, we're in this race. You know, literally, like since we started, because we all, you know, my friends and I, we started our businesses in the pandemic. So it's like 2020, you know, we had COVID against us, and it's like, okay, now we get into a flow, like 2023, or I guess like 2022, you know, the pandemic started to clear up, and it's like, boom, inflation. You know what I'm saying? Like gloves went up, like you're really trying, just times, you know, that's a lot of pressure too. So I guess to answer the question, I would say it's just to know that periods of like discouragement and like just feeling like unmotivated with the business, I would say it's just normal. I would say the best way to deal with it is, number one, to accept that it's a normal feeling of business, right? You're never gonna be in that, oh, new business stage like forever, right? Like the excitement kind of dies down. I mean, you're still excited and grateful. Like every time I come in here and I open up that door and I see my name and my logo, like it's always like a reminder of like, oh, I'm so blessed and grateful that this is what I do, right? I get to come in and this is my place. Like, there's no better feeling than that. But still, you know, you do kind of get into a routine. I do have my creative days, and I do have my days where it's like I'm just not in the mood for stuff. So I would take advantage of those creative days. And I think, when was it? I think it was in the fall. Like, I started coming up with like new things. You know, we started doing the remodeling for the classroom, and I started to get ideas of like, you know, maybe bringing fresh new things. That also helps sometimes when you're in the routine. Okay, next question. This one says, did you end up adding an aesthetic provider? I'm not sure where that question came from, because I don't think I ever mentioned that I was looking for one, or did I? Maybe I think I said I was potentially gonna add aesthetics in here, but no, I do not do aesthetics. I guess, you know what, I don't see that question in here, but let me answer it, because I've gotten that question in the past before, and it's about like the Botox and fillers. Like, am I gonna bring it? How do I feel about it? So let's answer that. But no, I did not add an aesthetic provider. So I've taken like two Botox filler courses, like sit down courses, to learn that, and then I've shadowed 2 different people. And with all of that training and shadowing and like doing it hands-on, like all of that, I really came to realize that like Botox and fillers is not something that I enjoy doing. Like, aesthetics is just a whole different field. It's a whole different world. I really love my fields where I'm at right now with wellness. I feel like wellness is just, it's me. Like, I love everything wellness. I'm personally on a wellness journey for like the past like 2 years or so. So it just goes hand in hand with like, you know, what you love to do. And same, like aesthetics is really, you know, I'm not huge on aesthetics. Like, I haven't done a lot of like aesthetic procedures like on myself, if anything. So it's not really something that I'm super passionate about. And to be honest, like being in people's faces like that when it came to like the Botox and fillers, and I'm saying Botox because everybody knows Botox, but we all know that's a brand. So the word is actually neurotoxins, but we'll just say Botox for the video. But yeah, like being in people's faces all like that, that is not really something that I liked all that much. Yeah, and like I said, the aesthetic clientele is just a different field that is just a little different. I feel like people are more particular, and it's just very much like more risky. Like, what if somebody doesn't like their results? You know, even when it comes to like skincare, you know, lasers, the microneedling, like it's really not a one size fits all when it comes to aesthetics. Like, something could work for one person and not work for the other person. So just that whole like, what if somebody doesn't get the results they want, or feel like I'm taking people's money? Like, it's just so many things about the aesthetics field that don't interest me. So yeah, that is the long awaited question about like the Botox and fillers. At one point I was gonna do it. Like, I even had bought the chair, guys. So my second IV hydration room was gonna be an aesthetics room. And yes, like I had bought the table and everything, and I even got to the point of making the account, guys. I had the account with Mertz, which is the makers of Xeomin, which is another kind of like brand. And I never even got I just was never even motivated to like buy the product and like start offering it. So yeah, that's just something that, and now for sure, like now I made the for sure decision, like it's just not for me. And no regrets, you know, I don't regret spending money on the courses, on the shadowing, nothing, because you have to do it, right? Sometimes you take a course, you're like, okay, and then you maybe try it and everything and you don't like it. So definitely no regrets. I don't feel like money was gone or spent. I feel like I learned it. If I ever in the future want to do it, it's there. You know, knowledge is just never a waste. So yeah, aesthetics will not be coming to Revitalux. We're gonna stay a wellness practice, and especially vitamins. I want to do just more with the vitamins. Vitamin therapy, micronutrient. I think I want to start to offer like actual micronutrient testing, which is lab work to really get down to like your micronutrients. I would like to offer that, and just more wellness things. Like, there's just so much you could do in the wellness industry. You know, gut health is like a big one. So like hand in hand with like vitamins and you know, your gut health, your lifestyle, things like that. So yeah, guys, aesthetics is not for your girl. I'm definitely a wellness girly, so I'm gonna stick to what I love, which is the IV drips and the vitamins. Oh, I saw a question here. So how did you learn how to invest properly? It's so confusing. So I'm gonna save this for another video because this is a little off topic. We're talking about business stuff. I mean, it kind of goes hand, but this is more like a financial topic. But yeah, I learned by reading books, by sitting down with a financial advisor, books, like a lot of books. And yeah, I think those are like my main 2 ways that I really learned. It was books, you know, just or even podcasts, also like financial podcasts, and then just my financial advisor. Like, he sat me down and taught me everything. And I think it's good to work like one-on-one with the person because they can really look at your finances. Like, everybody's different, so not everybody's going to be able to invest in something bigger, like maybe real estate or just some of the bigger things. Like if you have a smaller investment budget, like you have to be able to do what you can with that money, right? So they're gonna tell you maybe which stocks to put it into, which funds, you know, with things like that. Is it better maybe you get a property or a piece of land, a house? Like you really need to sit down with somebody so they can look at like your entire life, your income, your businesses, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, for me, I would say books and my financial advisor is where I learned. But I will make a video coming soon about like investing and what I do, because you know I can only speak for myself, so I would let y'all know what I'm investing in and kind of the things that I do. Okay, I want to begin an IV hydration spa when I graduate NP school. What should I do now? So NP school, so you're in NP school right now. Okay, good, perfect. So what should you do now? I would say take a course. First things first. So definitely I would take a class, because you can already start to like learn the business side of it. I always tell people like you can learn the business side of it at any time, and you know, just even practice and refine like those things that you learn along the way. Like you don't have to like take the course and start your business right away. You know, some of my students start right away. Some of them, like I've reached back out to them. I'm like, hey, so you know, where are you at in the process right now? And people are still like, you know, doing things. It's not like they put it to the side, like they're making moves and stuff, but you don't have to jump and do it right away. However, you can get that knowledge at any time when you can do it, so that you know even what are some of the steps that you can start to like do while you're still in school. So yeah, that would be the first thing that I would say, is to take a course, because once you're there and once you're serious about doing it, you know, you can start to work on a website, you can start to work on a logo, a name, you can really even do almost like the whole legal structure. I may wait though if you are still in NP school, because it is gonna it may depend in your state, like if you're a provider or if you're a nurse, like where they actually put the business under. So maybe you can wait on like the paperwork, but still you could start on like a website. I mean, you can literally start almost everything. You can even start marketing. Yes, like you could even start marketing ahead of time while you're still in school, and then once you're licensed and ready, like imagine you would have the whole business like ready to go. So yes, I would say maybe, you know, take a course and start to get that business knowledge. All right, I'm gonna answer a few more. Somebody asked me if I was gonna get my DMP. Nope. I have no desire to get a DMP, but congrats to everybody that has one. I think that's a beautiful accomplishment if that's something that you want, but you know, but yeah, not for me. I'm definitely done with school, guys. I do not want to repeat that phase of life. I don't want to go, I'm good. I have the degrees that I wanted, which for me was a master's degree. That's what I wanted. So yeah, it would have to be something really like maybe a big life transition for me to actually want to go back to school and like just further my education in anything, like whether that's just getting a whole new degree on something. I don't even see myself doing that. Like, yeah, I see myself being like a businesswoman for a long time, whether that's this business or different businesses, like, yeah. All right, so this is gonna be the last one. This one says, knowing when to leave or renew at your current leasing space. So this is actually a good question. I would say to know, you know, knowing how is number one, if you need more space. So obviously if you feel like you have a volume of clients that you're gonna need more space, maybe you want like a second room to do services. Maybe you're thinking about adding another service that requires, again, more space, more room. That would be like a good sign to say, okay, I'm kind of outgrowing the space. So that would be one. Number two, can you afford it? Number two, can you afford it? Please go through your numbers, look at how much the business brings in, look at how much goes out, put in some numbers like of like what's it called, like example rents. Like say for example your rent is $2,000 at your current location and your new location you're looking at is like $4,000. Plug those numbers in. Like, are you still gonna be bringing home money, or are you gonna be like what I call paycheck to paycheck when it comes to like business? That means that like you are bringing money in, but let's say like you bring in $10,000 to the spa and $10,000 is going out, meaning your rent, your doctor, your staff, your supplies, whatever. You're zero, you're in the red. So like, what's the point of having that, you know? So run the numbers, girl. Make sure that, you know, it just makes sense and you can comfortably afford that new lease payment comfortably, okay? That's a big word right there, because being able to afford it is one thing, but being able to comfortably afford it is another thing. That means that your rent is a small little percentage of, you know, the expenses that go out of your actual revenue. So yeah, I would just throw all the numbers in, and you know, if it does make sense, the numbers look good, you need more space, you know, the location is good. I feel like those are all like green flags, you know, that you can move. If things are looking a little red flag, like, ooh, I'm gonna be tight, I don't know, I'm not too comfortable. Remember, you want to keep your money. You don't want your money coming in from the business to be just going, rent, expenses, like it's just going out. You don't want that, okay? So yeah, sit down and make sure it makes sense. All right, guys, but that is going to be it for this business Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any other business questions, just leave them in the comment box. I like to go through and like screenshot questions, and then, you know, maybe I can answer them in future videos and different topics and things that we can do. But I hope you guys learned something from this video. I hope that it was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.